Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Had to come back and speak with you one more time before I go to bed because something should be said. I'm sure it's said over and over again. At least I'm persuaded by it being said already. And it basically indicates it can't get said too much. So I wanted to, mention that a few days ago, George Floyd's murderer trial ended, and they found the murderer guilty on all charges. There was a celebration. There was no riot. There was no protest. There was no breaking in buildings and smashing glasses. There was none of that. Because on that day, justice was served and injustice had been put to rest. Now that should have been a message to the people. But rather than get that message like justice brings peace, they decided to double down as they did in Florida, passing laws to criminalize all kinds of things for a particular purpose that they have that has nothing to do with the constitutionality of the American experience, but just racism and bigotry and all of the things that they have been doing all of these years that we have been here on this surface. A continuation of it. I wonder, did someone forget to remind them that there will be a time when people will have to answer for their actions? This thing is not going to go always just like you want it to go. No, not always. There will have to sometimes become some accountability. You think about why there is a lot of talk between the United States and Russia, but not too much war. Not even too much war talk. And everybody knows why. That didn't happen in places where we had to deal with people who didn't have nukes. So, here in America, they can do whatever they want. They can pass the laws and make it illegal if we violate whatever they write. And we'll have to go through it unless we wise up. They taught us what would put them in place. So what they were inviting people to do by causing more pain and suffering, by extending it more, like exhibiting more of their hate to the world so they could say, we haven't learned a thing, we're going to show them. Then if they knew that the same thing might happen to Florida when they start trying to implement this evil stuff, same thing might happen to Florida that they taught us through what they did to Black Wall Street. Now that might kind of coal them back a bit. It might not, but I guarantee you if it happened in one state, that'll help a lot on the next. I mean, it might not be so bad to go and think about burning up somebody else's house, but it might make you think twice when you get back to where you thought you had a house and find out you had nothing but burn up stuff too. Well, anyway, I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We have to realize that we have to move and try to do the best that we can possibly do. Can't be playing these games. We all know how evil Donald Trump was. We know how bigot and racist his philosophy of life is in relationship to others. We know that. But at the same time, we have to realize that when it comes down to black people in these prisons and stuff, if you do your research and just do some studies, you will find out that those plans and those laws and rules that were implemented that caused all of this stuff to happen to what you have labeled as the first black president that you call Bill Clinton because he could blow a saxophone, because he seemed like he had a little soul. You lift him up, first black president, while he's out there passing legislation to get the drugs that they have put into these streets and put into the hands of black people who had no ways of making a kind of living, but showed this as a way that they could do something. At the same time, putting that money into prisons and putting these brothers. And then our current president, if you check the tapes, I've been seeing them. And he's right there supporting it all the way. Supporting it all the way. Now he's standing before us as black people, talking about Joe Biden is a leader. He's our spokesman now. We trust him. We trust him. Why do you trust him? Because he had a mind change? Well, it's okay to have a mind change, but how much of a mind change has he had? Has he had the kind of mind change that say there will be no more middle class? There will be no more upper class? There will be no more lower class? But there will be we, the American people? Has he had enough change to say that? And if he has not had enough change to say that, I don't trust him. I don't trust anybody who call themselves in a leadership position who cannot say that. And I'm advising you to be likewise. I know you say, well, we might not be able to get that, but if we can go along with just a little bit, we can get something. And then you become one of those who are cursing those who can't get anything. Beware, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff is real. There's no more playing games. It's got to be right. It's got to be fixed, or it should not exist. Think about it. Love you. Goodbye.